What the Fireflies Knew by Kaya Harris. So this book came to me from my church book club. The church I attend, we have a book club and we read a lot of books. And through this channel, I'm going to try my best to indicate what was recommended through the book club, the church book club, and just reading on my own. So this is one of the ones that we read through our church book club. So it's a group of women who are from ages, I think, probably in their 80s to 85, all the way down to the 30s. So we have a wide range of ages in here. And we read a wide range of books. It's been quite interesting. So as I read this book, well, I keep saying read. I do all my books have been audio. I will say that it was not one of the best books. And I came away thinking, okay, maybe it's just me. And I'm actually recording this part on Sunday, and I ran into one of the ladies of the book club, and she said, I'm trying to finish the book, one of the older ladies. And I was like, yeah, I just finished yesterday. And she said, it's so tough. I just thought that it's boring. And I said, oh, so it's not just me. But anyway, I'm going to go on and review it for you, and because you may find it very interesting, and I'll say why I don't want to say an issue with the book, but I think it was just kind of left out there. So what do you do when the adults in your life can no longer shield you from the world's harsh realities? And What the Fireflies Knew, Kaya Harris captures the tender, bittersweet moment of when a childhood gives way to something much heavier and is far more complicated. So What the Fireflies Knew is Kaya Harris's poignant coming-of-age debut told through the eyes of 11-year-old Kenyatta Bernice, which they often called her KB. After the sudden death of her father and her mother's subsequent breakdown, KB and her older sister Nia were sent to live with their estranged grandfather in Lansing, Michigan. Now they were living in Detroit, Michigan. Set during one hot summer, the novel tenderly explores grief, growing up, and the findings of one place in a world that can feel both unsafe and full of unexpected beauty. And then there's some racism issues in here as well. It is written in a richly authentic voice, and it is established as a necessary voice in contemporary fiction for Harris. I found that it was beautifully written. I would just say the content I thought that it could have been a little bit deeper. And when I say deeper, I just think that there were a lot of holes in the story. She talks about the way that a preteen is grappling with loss. Not only a preteen, but a teenager. Her older sister, is really grappling with loss, the loneliness, and the confusion, push and pull of growing up. KB's narration is raw, tender, and often infused with a mix of innocence and bubbling awareness that feels completely true to her age. Some of the events in the book I felt it is fiction, but I felt like I'm not sure that parents or a grandfather at that age in his life would have allowed some of the things to happen. Harris also weaves in important themes such as race, as I mentioned earlier, class, family estrangement, mental health, without it being really heavy, but there was a lot of mental health that should have issues that should have been addressed. Now, the mother did get hers addressed, but she did ignore the fact that her children needed to have those issues addressed as well. And so that is one of the things that I felt was hanging with this book, was that she did take care of herself, but she did not provide mental health support for her daughters. And they really, really needed it throughout this book. The pace is gentle and it's slow. Summers are slow. but the emotional weight is very profound. She did talk about the painful truths on secrets with families and their identity, and how sometimes family secrets can lead to other rifts, and these rifts continue to grow and grow until eventually sometimes you don't even really know why you're upset with somebody in the family. But I can say that she did bring it all back. I won't necessarily say she tied it with a bow, but she did bring everything together to where stories or secrets that were told were revealed. And it did help everyone later on in the story. If there is any critique, I would say that the plot moved along. She did continue to stay in contact with her daughters. And then, she did have some issues with her father, which was kind of surprising that she would actually take her children to her father. That was kind of weird to me. After the father of KB was lost to drug addiction and emotional collapse of her mother, KB and her teenage sister Nia were sent to Detroit, as I mentioned. They were struggling with the absence of both parents, the tension of an older sister. Her older sister was not wanting to be involved with her, which also left KB felt like she was abandoned. So she lost a father, which she and her father were very close. Her mom left her with her father, which is their grandfather. And then the grandfather didn't talk that much. Eventually, he started coming around and talking to her. But, it felt like it could have been some support there because he left them to go fishing, which I really doubt in reality that would happen to girls. The oldest granddaughter, was out all day. KB was doing her thing and got into a situation which could have turned even worse. So I felt like some of the things in this story was definitely fiction. And it was definitely fiction, not in a normal, I don't want to say normal, but I don't necessarily say that it would be something that I would purchase. I probably would not purchase this book. I would give it a 3 out of 5 stars. I would definitely recommend you read it. Just, if you want to read something like this. Let me mention the racism part. The children across the street, the grandfather told KB not to go over there and play with them. She went over there anyway because she was lonely and wanted to have someone to play with her own age. And I felt like the author kind of left that hanging because the grandfather admitted at the end of the story that he did know that she was going over there often, but he didn't address it. And I feel like grandfathers normally would have reiterated the fact that he told her not to go over there. So those are some things that I just felt like there were a lot of holes in the story that were not completely tied up, and which really led me to the 3 out of 5. So if I get a chance to, we have the book club meets on the 4th Monday of every month. So I don't know what their response will be, but I might respond. If they feel the same way I did, I will share in the comments. You all have a great day.